Hi, good morning, everyone. First speaker this morning is going to be Rasmus Dahlin. I'd invite you to raise your hands with questions for Rasmus at this time. Hi, good morning, Rasmus. Our first question will be from Bill Hoppy.
Hi, Rasmus. You said a few weeks ago that Don Granato was doing something special. With more time to see what you guys were able to do under him, what was Don's impact on the Sabres? What were the biggest things that happened, the transformation under him, in your opinion?
I mean, he came in with a great positive attitude. He made all the young guys play a lot. He made everyone play very well. He made us feel confident. Every day we came to the rink, we were in a good mood, and we always knew he had our back. So that's a huge key for having success. I feel like.
Hey, Rasmus, John Worrell. For all the bright spots that happened over the final 2 months with, Hauser, winning games, Tokarski, you playing better, Mittelstadt, and all that, all the good things that happened in what was a tough season. How discouraging is it to hear that there's a dispute between the team and Jack Eichel, and his future is uncertain going into next season?
I mean, I don't really know what's been said or anything, so I don't really have any comments on that. Sorry.
Hey, Rasmus. You said how, what Granado's changes did for the entire team, but you specifically, the style of play, the system that Don put in place, how did that bring out the best in your game, especially when it comes to the offensive side of it?
Yeah, I mean, his way to play is how I learned to play hockey. I mean, but the thing I felt was that he trusted me as a player. He really saw what my potential was, and I felt comfortable playing out there. And I wasn't thinking too much.
Rasmus, I was just about to ask about that. You kind of weighed in on it a little bit, but right before the draft, people saw how creative you could be with the puck and sort of the things that you could do that we really don't see from a lot of defensemen. Just in the last since Don Granato took over, do you feel like you were sort of able to get back to that style of play and that you had been playing seemingly your entire life?
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I was trying to do stuff every shift, so I can't really do that. It's NHL, and that's not how I play right now. I want to be a defenseman you can trust and who can play in the both ends. But I mean, I felt a lot more confident, and I felt trusted. So yeah, it was good.
Hey, Rasmus, it seemed like the past month you were seeing top lines and top ice time almost every night. What was it like working through that, and what can you take from that moving forward?
Excuse me, it was I think it was lagging a little bit. Can you ask that question again?
Yeah, seeing the matchups you saw the last month and the ice time, what was that like working through that, and what will you take from it?
Yeah, it was a great experience. I mean, I haven't really played against the other team's top line before, so I felt that I took my next step defensively, and I really learned how the best player in the league plays. So it was great to play against those guys. It was not easy, but it was a great learning process.
And then I wanted to ask you about Casey too. What have you seen behind the scenes, whether it's his mentality or the work he's put in, that kind of went into him having the season he had?
Oh yeah, I've known Casey now for 3 years, and I always know what he's been capable of doing, and I just see every day how hard he works, and I'm super happy that he's doing good. He's such a humble and hardworking guy, so I really enjoy watching him.
Hi, Rasmus. Pretty much the biggest takeaway from yesterday was it's entirely possible Jack and Sam and Risto won't be on this club next year. You'll be going into year 4. So if some or all those guys aren't back, what kind of leader can you become for this club? You will no longer be a young player. What kind of leader can you be if this essentially becomes your club?
I mean, I don't know what the future will look like, but me as a guy, when I was younger and junior, I've always been one of the leaders in the team. So I mean, we'll see, but I'm excited for the future for sure.
Rasmus, you're a restricted free agent this summer. Have you given any thought to, do you want to sign long-term in Buffalo? What are your thoughts when it comes to the contract situation?
I mean, the season just ended, and I'm not happy about the season. So I haven't think about it for 1 second yet.
During your time here, you've played games with Jack in the lineup and without Jack in the lineup. What's the difference when he's in and when he's out?
I mean, he's one of the best players in the league. So him on the power play and him just playing hockey, it's amazing to see. Yeah, I mean, I love watching him play. He's such a skilled and powerful player. So I mean, I think every team would love him on this team, and he's such a great player. Yeah.
Rasmus, we've seen Risto, Jack, and Sam go 8, 7, and 6 years without making the playoffs. You're at 3. I know how you hate losing. How have you dealt with this situation, and like, what's the summer going to be like? Are you going to ignore the playoffs and not watch any of it, or how do you just deal with trying to get this team over the hump?
That's why you play hockey. Want to make playoffs. So going into summer, I will work really hard to be able to play playoff hockey. So I'm excited to work on all the stuff I have to do, and yeah, that's all I can do in the summer.
Rasmus, we're going to have a couple questions here in Swedish. So Janie, you can go ahead.
Ja, hej Rasmus, det är Janne Bengtsson på NHLs svenska hemsida. Hör du mig eller?
Ja, tjena.
Tjena. Du, om du summerar säsongen från början till slut, hur skulle du vilja göra det då?
En väldigt stor fråga, men jag ska försöka. Det har inte varit så roliga tider. Vi har haft mycket skador, tränarbyten, mycket skador på målvakter. Så det har varit jättemycket grejer som har försiggått, så det har inte varit lätt.
Din personliga utveckling under säsongen, det var ditt 3:e år. Det är liksom, du har inte 15 säsonger i bagaget, det var ditt 3:e år. Din personliga utveckling, har du märkt någonting speciellt?
Jag tror någonstans efter ett sånt här år så tar man nog med sig att det har varit en läropeng det här. Det här gör mig nog till en starkare spelare och människa. Gått igenom ett sånt här år är inte lätt. Så på slutet på året så började jag spela bättre. Fick möta det andra lagets första linje varje byte liksom och sådär. Så jag kan inte säga att jag menar, det har gått som det har gått, men det har inte varit så lätt.
Du, tränarbytet, påverkade det dig personligen?
Ja, det skulle jag säga. Det har blivit bättre efter det.
På vilket vis?
Men jag har kunnat vara mer avslappnad där ute. Fått mer självförtroende. Kunnat spela min hockey på ett annat sätt. Och jag känner att jag kunnat blomstra ut lite bättre och kunnat, som sagt, spela min hockey.
Sista frågan, jag ska inte plåga dig med nästa säsong. Jag hörde att du har svarat på de frågorna redan. Men när åker du hem till Sverige? Eller åker du hem till Sverige? Och i så fall när och hur tänker du dig i sommar?
Nej, men jag kommer åka hem. Får bara boka ett flyg först. Så men det blir väl inom snar framtid liksom. Sen sommaren jag kommer åka hem, träna stenhårt och göra mig redo för nästa säsong.
Var någonstans är hem nu för dig?
Göteborg.
Okej. Tack ska du ha.
Tack.
Thank you, Rasmus.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, guys. Have a great summer.
And we'll have Casey Mittelstadt in just a couple minutes here. Be just about a minute here for Casey, so we'll start with Lance when he reaches the microphone. Okay, hello, Casey. Good morning. We're going to start with Lance.
Morning, Casey. In what ways do you feel you were able to make more of an impact at center this year than, at the beginning of your career, now that you have all the experience and you've gotten older?
Yeah, I don't know if it's one thing in particular. I think game slowed down. I felt like I did better on faceoffs. I know that's a little thing, but still definitely need to work on them and get better. But it's start so many shifts with faceoffs, and just starting to shift with the puck makes a huge difference and can completely change the outcome of the whole shift. But I think overall the game slowed down a little bit for me, and I especially when Donnie took over, I thought that the coverage we played in the D zone, sometimes we would kind of resort back and forth to what we were doing before, but just made a lot of sense to me, and I've done a lot of it like that in the past, and thought I was better defensively, and I think that leads to so much more offensive pressure and offensive zone time.
Hi, Casey. Ralph Kruger clearly made it plain to us, and I'm sure to you as well, that he didn't think you were a center in the NHL. Don Granato came in, gave you a chance to prove that wrong, and I think most people would say you took it and ran with it and proved that to not be the case. What was it about the approach Don took with you that allowed you to play the way you did in that position and prove that what he was saying was actually true?
Yeah. I don't know if it's one thing. I think Donnie came in and, he challenged me. He challenged me to be better and challenged me to take a step and play a bigger role. And, sometimes obviously guys need that. And it's good for me to come into the game and know that I was going to play, and I was going to play against the other team's top players usually. And for me, that leaves no room to fail. You got to be on your best, and they're going to be on their best. So it's pretty much that simple. It was a good learning experience for me to do that and do that day in, day out. I thought it got better as it went on, and obviously there was hiccups, but that part of it's positive for me, knowing that I can go out and I can play against anyone and even make plays against anyone. So it was good for me from that point. But I don't know. I think, and credit to Donnie too, he stuck with it. I think my first few games at center after playing wing for a while weren't my best games of the year for sure. So obviously I'm comfortable in the middle. I've always played in the middle. So just took a couple games, and then, like I said, it was a credit to Donnie for sticking with it.
Casey, Rasmus Dahlin wasn't having the best season, and then when Don came in, he kind of had that transformation. What did you see from Rasmus over the last couple of months that helped him get back to being that aggressive defenseman and so forth?
I don't know. Like I said earlier in the interview, it's hard to put it on one thing, but he just started making plays, and I think he had the freedom to kind of roam around and do whatever he wants. So many of the times he's up in the play so far, and then somehow he's always back. So just giving him the freedom to do that, I think is something that changed for him. And you see him making plays that not very many people in the world can make, especially just crazy passes out of the D zone and beating guys on the offensive blue line. And when you're out there with him, it's always a treat. You just try to get open and hopefully you get a nice chance and a nice rush. So like I said, he did a great job. I don't know if it's one thing in particular, but I think he just got the green light and went out and played the right way.
Hey, Casey, John Worrell with the AP. Congrats on, a very encouraging finish to your season. On the downside, I guess, is how discouraging is it knowing or hearing or Well, knowing that 3 of your team leaders expressed some disinterest, question about whether they want to be here next season.
Yeah, I think obviously you don't want to hear that. I've become friends with them, and obviously we've been teammates for almost 3 years now. Obviously I had a little stint in Roch, but we've all become friends, and obviously they've been here longer than me and the other guys my age. But yeah, it's hard to hear, and obviously it's out of my control. It's out of anyone else's control. So like I said, I'm friends with them, and I've enjoyed my time playing with them for sure. It's been nothing but good things to say about them, and yeah, like I said, it's out of my control, but it's definitely tough to hear.
Hey, Casey, you've made it clear multiple times this season that the biggest lesson was the NHL can be taken away. Just what was it like having it taken away, and what did it drive you to do?
Yeah, I think it just changed my mindset a little bit in the off season. I don't know. I've kind of been like that my whole year or my whole career, where it's kind of up and down, and finding a way to prove myself and then get back into it. And yeah, I don't know. I guess it was a good lesson for me. Go home and realize the amount of work that I have to put in every day, and the things that I have to do away from the rink to get myself ready to play. And I think that was the biggest difference more than anything. I think when you do that, you get in the zone and start playing well. You get in what you put, or you get out what you put into it. So for me, that was the biggest difference. And obviously it's something that I got to continue to do this summer.
Casey, we've seen you be a leader on this team since Don Granato took over. What have you learned from being around Jack Eichel in terms of being a leader?
I think the biggest thing about Jack is just that he's so competitive every night. He plays so hard every night, and he's always got his emotions are always there, and he's very vocal in the room. But more than anything, his competitiveness is the best part about his leadership for sure. You see how hard he works and see how hard he battles every night, and just leading by example like that, it gives all the boys on the bench a little bit of a pump up, and you know that if he's doing it, that you can do it too, for sure.
Casey, just to piggyback on what Julianne asked you, how ready are you? Let's say, some of the leaders aren't back next year, and it kind of becomes your team and Dahlin's team and Cozens' team. How ready are you to step into a role of a leader now that you've been able to play in all situations, and the coaching staff trusts you and you've been able to grow as a player? Are you ready to step into more of a leadership role?
It's a tough question. I mean, yeah, I obviously want to be a leader. I think every guy wants to be a leader, but I also am going to come to the rink and be myself every day. And I'm going to work hard. And if something needs to be said, and I think I'm the guy to say it, then I'll say it. But I'm not going to go in next year and start parading and yelling at different guys. I'm just going to go to the rink and be myself. And it's put me in a leadership role in the past. So just try to stick with that and then see where it takes me.
Hey, Casey, you mentioned the work you put in and the mindset you had over the offseason. So when you did that and you come in and you spend the first part of the year on the taxi squad, how did you, I guess, embrace that or think that through?
Yeah, it was tough. I had a couple of tough days, but just coming to the rink every day and working hard. It was kind of a weird scenario because I wasn't playing, but I knew that I felt the best that I've been, and I felt like in this taxi squad skates that I know it's not playing, but that I was playing the best that I have been. So yeah, I got lucky. Obviously, I think it's been said a lot, but Elliot was huge for us, and just making it fun and keeping us patient. And yeah, I think the hardest part was just staying patient and staying ready to go. But I knew that eventually I would get my chance, and just making sure that I was ready and ready to run with the opportunity.
Was there a game where you felt you were really starting to grab a hold of your spot, I guess?
I don't know if it's one game in particular. I think
trying to think back. No, probably not. I don't think it was one game in particular, but I mean, I remember I scored against Philly. That was a big goal for me. I hadn't scored in a while, so just getting myself going there, and I was playing center again, and kind of started feeling things and making better plays. And yeah, I don't know if there's one game in particular, but I think I got more comfortable and more confident every night.
Thank you.
Casey, we've talked to the defenseman a lot about Dan Girardi. Quite honestly, Matt Ellis has kind of flown under the radar here. What kind of an assistant coach was he, and how much did he help you in your growth that you had this year?
Yeah, he was great. He's just such a positive guy. Like even on the bench, in the locker room, on practice days, every day he's positive. And sometimes I find that you can find that a little fake or stuffy, but with Ellie, it's just all the time positivity, and it's always working, and you know that he means what he's saying every time because he's just that good of a person. So yeah, like I said, I owe him a lot with the taxi squad skates. There was days where I was just pissed off out there, and I don't know, probably a little crabby in the 8 a.m. skates. So he took it and always made it fun for us and always gave us the best skate possible. And I think we all owe him a lot.
Thank you, Casey.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
And up next, we'll have Tage Thompson in a couple minutes. We'll have Tage in just a minute, so I'd invite you to raise your hands with questions for Tage, and we'll start with Lance. Good morning, Tage. We will start with Lance Lysowski.
Morning, Tage. At the beginning of the year, you started on the first line. You got moved around in the lineup a few times. It seemed like you weren't able to really establish a role in the first month of the season or whatnot. The success that you experienced over the final month of the season, I mean, how much do you think that is that you were put on a line, you were given a role, and you were able to sort of grow in that role as opposed to being moved around and shuffled a little bit in the lineup?
Yeah, I think it was huge. I think just that directness from Donnie on what he wanted from me, and just being given that opportunity. I knew every time I was stepping out over the boards what I needed to do, and I think just that clarity and opportunity, I think, is something big for me, and just kind of running with that. And obviously, we got off to a pretty good start there when Donnie took over, and I think just getting that confidence and starting to roll a little bit, and kind of run with it.
Good morning, Tage. Casey told us that Don Granato challenged him and also stuck with him even when he was playing center a little bit and was struggling at first. Do you feel like Don kind of challenged you as well? And what were some of the things that he said to you when you were starting to get some more playing time and had a larger role?
Yeah, I think he challenges everyone. I think that's all we need. I think that says a lot about him. Obviously, he sees a lot in us and knows what we're capable of and holds us to a higher standard. And I think for me personally, some of the things he was, preaching is just being consistent every single night and being able to take over games. I know we both believe that I'm capable of that. Now it's just getting to that. And I think we started to see that a little bit there towards the end of the season. I think that's just something I have to take with me into the off season and, just continue to grow in and then hopefully carry that over into next season.
Hi, Tage. So in the short time you got to play on the line with Jack Eichel earlier this season, what did you learn from his game and how did that grow your game?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy playing with Jack, so it's a lot of fun. He's obviously one of the best players in the world, and I think just watching him and the way he plays, I think he's so offensively gifted. You pick up things just playing with him, like where he likes to go with the puck and certain plays. And I think when you even just play with him in practice, just trying to keep up with his pace, he's so fast. I think just makes you a better player. So I enjoyed my time playing with him. It was a very cool experience.
Hey, Tage, from a team standpoint, whether it's on or off the ice, what about these last 2 months do you think can carry over into another season?
Yeah, I think just going through that adversity we went through, I think, the guys obviously bought into what Donnie was preaching. And I think, going through that stretch where things weren't going our way, I think battling through that, and obviously we still didn't get the wins and stuff we wanted towards the end of the season. But I think playing with that consistency and battling every night, I think is something that gives your team life. Even if you're not getting the wins, you still have that, belief in you're playing the right way and, things will turn around for you. So I think that collectiveness that we have in the locker room right now, the last couple of months was great.
Hey, Tage, Sean Worrell. In that sense, would it be almost unfair to this team to not have Don Granato and the team pick up where you guys left off next season?
I mean, yeah, that's not my call. My call is just to do what I can over the season. I think, focusing on getting better and getting stronger and then just continue to get confident. I mean,
carry that confidence over into next season, knowing that I can take over games. I mean, whatever the staff decides, whatever, you know, they do behind the scenes, they're doing what's best they think for the organization. So I got to do my part.
Did you remember you talking about even before the season, how you got stronger in the off season, and watching you play, it did look like you were trying to use your size to your advantage in games too. As you move forward and try to train this summer and everything, is that something you're going to try to do more of as you move forward in your career? Is using that size that you have to your advantage?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just continuing to fill out my frame. I think obviously I did a great job last summer gaining weight and getting stronger. And I think there's always another level you can get to. You should never be comfortable with where you're at. Sorry. But yeah, that's going to be a big thing for me this summer. I think if I can get to that next level, it's going to be that much easier for me taking pucks to the net and, you know, using my body to hold off defensemen. I think I'm capable of doing that, and I'm excited for, you know, the grind this off season and hopefully the payoff it'll bring for next season.
Hey there. Well, there's a lot of uncertainty in a lot of things. You have 2 more years on a contract here. Just what do you see in the future for the Buffalo Sabres?
I think nothing but excitement. I think obviously we got a young core right now. I think a lot of guys are in the kind of same boat where I'm at, where we've kind of gotten to that situation where we know we can take over games. I think if just off the top of my head, you look at Casey, Ras, Aspie, I think, you know, the confidence those guys have played with the past, you know, couple months. And I think we have a lot of guys like that are right now that are hungry to win and take over games. And I think that's a dangerous thing when you got a core group like that. And I think we saw it the last part of the season there. I know it's not the season we wanted, but I think the team's buying into, you know, what we are capable of. And I think that's an exciting thing going into an off season.
Tage, understanding that the coaching situation is not your call or any player's call. That said, you and Casey and Dahlin have expressed a lot of support for Donnie. We know that. Did you express your thoughts on the matter to Kevin? Were you asked? I mean, did you guys tell Kevin you want Donnie back?
No, we're asked what we thought of the season in terms of individual performance and, you know, what they saw from a team standpoint. I think obviously he likes having input about that stuff, but ultimately that's his call. I love Donnie. I think Donnie's a great coach. I've had him at U18 at the national program, so we go back. But you know, whatever they do, like I said, it's up to them, and they're going to make the best decision for the team. So as players, I think all you can do is just, you know, trust that your GM's doing the right thing, and I think we all do. So we got to do our part now.
Hey, Jen, I know you didn't play as much with Dylan Cozens, but Dylan and Casey, what sort of growth did you see from those two as the season went on, particularly over the last month or so of the season when Don was the coach?
Yeah, I think just confidence. And I think with that confidence, it just comes from opportunity, right? So we saw those guys starting to, you know, get more ice time and just playing. And I think they both had terrific seasons. Casey was, you know, on a roll and just taking over games, and, you know, Cuzzy's first year in the league, it's pretty impressive. So I think that season's going to do nothing but good things for everybody. You know, not being successful as a team and fighting through that adversity is only going to make us better in the long run. When we go through things next season, it's going to be a little bit easier to get through them, and we'll know we're capable of getting through them. So you know, as far as those two guys go, they had great seasons, and, you know, excited to see them next year too.
Thank you, Tage.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And we'll have Victor Olofsson in a few minutes, everyone. All right. Hello, Victor.
Hey, how's it going?
Very well. Good morning to you. Our first
Morning.
question here is going to be from Lance.
Video on. Morning, Victor.
Good morning.
Obviously, during any offseason, there's going to be changes, but just based on what was said yesterday, Jack's obviously frustrated. Sam's frustrated. I mean, who knows what this team's going to look like in Kevin's, second offseason as GM, but what's it like entering a summer when you really just don't know what this team is going to look like? And, you being, it's weird to call you one of the older guys, you could have a prominent role in, maybe shaping what this team's going to be next year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what happens in the summer is up to Kevin and those guys, and like all I'm gonna do is focus on myself and I'll do whatever I can to become a better hockey player for next year. I'm gonna work very hard this summer, and I'm gonna be prepared for the next year for sure. I mean, that's where my mindset is, and that's all I can control. So like I'm not worried about anything. I'm just focus on myself and just become a better hockey player.
Victor, how did you become a better hockey player this season? And what steps do you need to take to be a bigger contributor 5-on-5, in your opinion?
I just had a great talk with Kevin about that, and I feel like I gotta be a little bit more, play a little bit more on the inside and be good around the net and find ways to score more goals like in around the net. I mean, I know I can score from the outside. Like I know I have a good shot, and I'm gonna get my opportunities and score goals from the outside. So it's just kind of get more on the inside and just be a little bit more close to the net and score a little bit more of those dirty goals. It doesn't always have to be that pretty. So I think that's the biggest key for me to take the next step and become a better goal scorer overall.
Good morning, Victor. Thanks for hopping on. I know you mentioned, obviously you can score from the outside. We've all seen your shot. We know what you can do. Over the summer, what are things that you can do to kind of help yourself play near the net? Is it a focus on adding muscle under your frame? Is it work? Is it just, kind of watching film and seeing where guys go?
Yeah, I would think it's more of a mindset, like just to like kind of like go on the inside. I don't think I have to add much weight or anything like that. I'm sure I can add a couple of pounds, but I don't think that's an issue really. I feel strong on the ice, even like battling and puck protection. I feel like I can hold guys on my back, and like I'm not worried about that. So I would say it's more like look at video, look at the areas, like what I can do differently, like just the timing of it. Maybe like come in, like find that open ice on the back door, like come in, just I don't know, yeah, just looking more at the video. Then I don't think it's more like a physical standpoint. It's just got to be better and read the game a little bit better in the offensive zone, just to come to the inside a little bit more and find opportunities.
Hey, Victor, as much as you want to focus on yourself this summer, how discouraging is it knowing that 3 of your team leaders aren't sure if they want to be here next season?
I mean, like I said, that's not my thing to discuss really. Like all I can do is focus on myself, focus on the team. And that's what I'm going to do. So it's nothing like I really wanted to discuss, and I don't have anything to say about that really. It's just like, yeah, I'm just focusing on myself to become a better hockey player. That's all I can control, right? So that's what I'm going to do.
Hey, Victor, I wanted to ask you about Linus Ullmark and how you would describe the feeling the team has playing in front of him.
No, he was unbelievable for us this year, and like unfortunately he had those injuries, which was tough for both him and the team. But I think he's a world-class goalie when he's healthy and playing at his best. It feels very safe to have him in net, and so yeah, hopefully he'll be back here healthy and ready to go next year.
Hi, Victor. We saw the impact that Don Granato had with a lot of the younger players. What kind of challenges did he give to you? How much did you feel the impact that he had really can help you young guys going forward?
I felt like we just overall with Donnie, I felt like we played better hockey. I felt like we managed the puck a little bit better, and that's what he wanted us to play freely out there. So that's I like that. I love that mindset. I like feeling free on the ice, and like obviously there's things you got to do defensively, this and that, but he made us just go out and play and enjoy it, and I think we all benefit from that, and I think we all kind of took a step playing that way, and so I'm really excited looking into next year.
Going back to Linus, yesterday he told us how awful some days were for him. Did you know that, and how did you think he handled all that?
Oh, it's been a tough year for Linus for sure. I mean, especially in like early this year, like he lost his dad, and like that was a really tough time for him, and we all were trying to support him the best way we could, and then I also know like the position he's in when he's been injured. It's not easy. I was in that position last year, and especially this year for him, he didn't have his family here either, so he spent a lot of time by himself. So obviously it's been a tough year for him in that aspect. So we were all trying to support him the best way we could, and I think he did a hell of a job though, and I'm sure he'll come out of this a lot stronger. So.
Victor, before we wrap up, we have some questions in Swedish.
Okay.
Ja, hej Victor. Detta är Janne Bengtsson på NHLs svenska hemsida. Tjena.
Tjena.
Du, du har pratat lite om säsongen här. Vad tar du med dig från den här säsongen in i nästa? Vad kan du se för positivt?
Jag tycker att givetvis hade vi en väldigt tuff start med tränarbyte och den här losing streaken som vi hade. Jag tror att vi tog oss igenom det och växte som grupp och kom ur hela den biten starkare tycker jag. Jag tror att vi kan absolut ta med oss det till nästa säsong. Just hur det är väl så tufft som det egentligen kan bli för ett lag i den här ligan. Så det är någonting vi tar med oss och någonting jag tycker vi redan har växt ifrån, och det tar vi absolut med oss till nästa säsong.
Ni bytte tränare under säsongen. Hur påverkade det din personliga utveckling som spelare? Alla har pratat att det blir mer fria roller och så.
Ja, jag tycker att jag spelade absolut lite mer fri hockey. Jag kände att jag var kanske lite fast i ett spelsystem innan, och var lite liksom att jag skulle åka dit och dit, liksom att det var inte att man var inte ute och bara och spela hockey fritt, utan det var lite, jag kände att jag var lite fast som ett spelsystem, så att jag kände att jag spelade mycket bättre med pucken efter tränarbyte. Jag tycker att jag utvecklade mina passningar och framspelningar och bara kunna bära puck genom mittzon tycker jag gjorde på ett mycket bättre sätt. Så det tycker jag utvecklade väldigt, väldigt mycket nu.
Var det som var din personliga, det här var ditt andra år i ligan, var det som var din personliga utveckling, eller fanns det annat som du känner att det här blev jag fan så mycket bättre på?
Nej, jag tycker faktiskt, jag sa det inför den här säsongen också, att jag vill bli bättre på att hålla i puck och bära puck och öppna upp yta för mina lagkamrater, vilket jag tycker att jag gjorde under den här säsongen. Sen så vill jag givetvis ha ett ännu större hot och göra mer mål och producera mer. Men det var ett av mina stora mål den här säsongen var att bli bättre med puck överlag, och det tycker jag absolut att jag blev. Så nu får jag försöka ta nästa steg och producera ännu mer och göra fler mål.
Sista frågan. du åker hem till Sverige i sommar antar jag och tränar. Har du någon sån här speciell grupp som du kör med andra NHL-spelare eller några
jag har en grupp hemma i Övik. Där jag brukar träna med Viktor Hedman. Sen har jag min storebror jag tränar med. Ludvig Byström, en kille som spelar i Finland. Christian Jakobsson, en av mina bästa kompisar hemma, han spelar i Norge. Vi har en bra träningsgrupp där, så vi är ett gäng spelare, så att det funkar väldigt bra.
Du åker hem snart eller?
Ja, jag kommer nog vara här ett tag till sen så kan jag...
Stort tack.
Tack så mycket.
Well, thank you, Victor.
Thank you. Have a good summer.
You too.
All right, our next and final speaker for the day will be Dylan Cozens. Just a couple minutes till we have Dylan. When he gets to the microphone here, we're going to go ahead and start with John Worrell. Okay, good morning, Dylan. Our first question here will be from John Worrell.
Hey, Dylan, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. What are the challenges that you face getting back home, and what are your plans, and how much you approach that, knowing everything that's going on north of the border?
Yeah, I mean, Canada's definitely in kind of a tough spot right now with compared to the U.S. I guess a lot of stuff's closed, so I don't really have any plans yet. I mean, I could go back home, but I'd have to quarantine, and I don't really want to quarantine right away. So we'll see. I might stick around here for a bit or get down somewhere else, but I don't really have set plans yet. But I definitely do want to get home and see my family and stuff and hang out up there.
Thank you.
Morning, Dylan. When it comes last 2 months of the season, you were able to play center pretty much every game. What did you, I guess, learn about the challenges of playing that position in the NHL, and how do you feel you grew when playing difficult matchups pretty much every game?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing comes to mind, obviously, right away is just face-offs. I mean, these guys have been taking face-offs in the NHL, some of these guys for a long time. So coming in, it's definitely had some off games on face-offs, and other than that, I mean, like in the D zone too, it's, there's lots of responsibility. You lose your guy, he's going to be open. So, I mean, I think I did a pretty good job as a center, but I know I want to be better and just keep improving, and building off of what I achieved this year.
Dylan, you had so many challenges this year. You talked about quarantine. You had 2 long ones, COVID, the World Junior, coming here, being a rookie, in your first season in the NHL. It seemed like you had a very good rookie year, but with everything combined, maybe the last 5, 6, 7 games, do you think you hit a bit of a wall there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the last stretch there for me, I didn't really produce how I would have liked to finish. So I mean, I would say I definitely wasn't at my best there finishing off the season. And it was definitely a long year for me. There's obviously no excuses there or anything. But, it's nice. I mean, I'd love to be playing in playoffs right now, and I think everyone obviously would, but it's going to be good for me to kind of just, take a little mental break and then, get after it. It's going to be a big summer for me. I have high expectations for myself, and, I want to come back next year way better. And, I'm going to work as hard as I can this summer to come back and be a difference maker and be a guy who, can produce. And I'm going to expect myself to be a guy who can produce next year.
Hi, Dylan. I think back to when we were in Vancouver for your draft weekend, and, Sam Reinhart was there, greeted you. Jack, I know, called. When you think to what went on yesterday, the chances are Sam and Jack and maybe Risto may not be here next year. Just what was your reaction hearing about yesterday, and how much of a more of a leader can you become on this team, even though next year you would only be in your second year in the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, I can only say great things about those guys. I mean, from the moment I was drafted, obviously Reinhart being there and, Eichel calling me, those guys have been great to me since the moment I got here. They've helped me, get my feet wet in this league and learn, and they've always, helped me out so much and given me so many tips. So, whatever happens with them, it's out of my control. Obviously, we'd love to have them both back. They're both great players. So, I mean, if they're not, I do think there'll be room for me to kind of step up and be more of a leader for sure. And I mean, but like I said, they're both great players. I mean, we'd love to have them back.
Hey there. I'm sure you had expectations of what the NHL was going to be like on the ice. Just what did you learn about it, being part of it for the season?
Yeah, I mean, this year was definitely not how I envisioned my first year in the NHL being. As a kid, there's definitely a lot of different things. Definitely learned, how hard it is to play in this league and produce in this league. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I'm gonna take from this year. I definitely learned a lot, and I'm gonna use that to build my game this off season, so I can come back and sorry, one sec, and be more consistent next year in producing. And I mean, it's going to take a lot of work, and I know it is. And I'm ready to get started.
Dylan, there was a pretty big transformation after Don took over. When you looking back, what did he do to transform you guys? What was his big impact on you guys, in your opinion?
I mean, to win games, you got to score goals, and I mean, he kind of based a lot of game on offense and scoring goals. I mean, he was great. I know a lot of us here, loved playing for him, and a lot of guys really shined under him. So, we loved having him a coach, and that doesn't take anything away from Ralph. I love Ralph as a coach too, and as a guy. He was great to me. He's definitely one of the best humans I've ever met. So, I mean, whatever happens this off season with coaching, it's not up to us. But whatever happens, we're all going to be super excited to be back here next year.
Hi, Dylan. Going off of what Bill just asked you there, how encouraged are you by how the last month has gone with this team under Don?
Yeah, I think what we did that last month or so is, just a glimpse of what we know we can do next year. We got a real good group here right now, and a lot of guys that are hungry to win. So, I mean, I think we're all really excited to kind of have a fresh start next season. So, we're all just gonna work as hard as we can this off season to come back and be a winning team.
Hey Dylan, there was a stretch there where Donnie was giving you top lines every night. It felt like. How would you describe the difference between playing those guys, Bergeron, Crosby, compared to playing against third, fourth lines?
And the biggest difference is just minutes and playing time, I'd say. I mean, those two guys specifically are guys I watched, growing up my whole life. So to be out there, line match against them was pretty cool for me. And, taking faceoffs against them, it kind of gives me that extra gear almost to be, try and shut them down or try and score against them. So, I mean, everyone, you're in the NHL, everyone's a good player. So there's not much, but definitely playing against those guys, it's just the minutes is the most difference, and just how smart they are in making plays. It almost seems like they never make mistakes. So I definitely love playing against those guys, like matching against the top line. And yeah, hopefully we'll see more of that in the future.
Dylan, how did, in your exit interview, did Kevin give you any sort of areas of improvement that he and the organization want to see from you next season? And what sort of goals, maybe not specifically, do you have for yourself this summer to get you ready for year 2 in the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the talk was just, my thoughts on this season, what I learned and what I can bring into next year. And, like I said, I didn't really produce how I wanted to this year. I have high expectations on myself. I want more. So, mean, the biggest thing for me is just kind of working on that side of the game, just being, I want to be a goal scorer in this league. So, I know I got a lot of work to do this summer to come back and hopefully be able to, up my game from there. But I mean, this year for me was a big learning year, and there's a lot of things I learned that I can build on and improve, and I'm going to do that this offseason.
Hey, Dylan, it didn't appear that you shied away from much of anything on the ice this year, and just the way you've responded to us with your answers as well. Given the uncertainty at the leadership level going into next season, how much do you feel you can shoulder part of that role, given what you've learned and given the person that you are right now?
I mean, I'm still a very young player in this league, so I don't expect guys to come in and look at me as a leader this soon. But I definitely want to be a guy that is good. I want to be a leader on this team for sure, and a guy that can be someone that guys can look to and talk to. And I mean, obviously as a young guy right now, I don't expect that, but I do expect it of myself in the future for sure. I want to be here for a long time, and I definitely would like to be a leader on this team for a long time.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thanks.
Okay, and thank you everyone for your time. That is the end of availability for today. Hope you all enjoy a pleasant afternoon, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.